It's showtime.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got to do the thing. You got to do showtime.
Yeah, well, she's very much a Wesley Snipes type.
Me and the Wesley Snipes type? Can you imagine?
Don't ruin it.
Showtime. All right, Jude. Tell me what this god awful movie's all about.
2002 Showtime, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour 35 minutes. This had a budget of $85 million. What? De Niro, Murphy.
Ugh.
Chef's kiss.
This should have been a $20 million movie.
What do you think this brought into the box office? They had that news helicopter. That ain't cheap.
105 million.
At least 10 million of that budget went to William Shatner. So.
Oh, that's right.
The Shat is back.
I forgot
he was the best part of this movie.
He was the best part of the movie.
He was, yeah, when he was doing the role.
Like, it's literally William Shatner playing William Shatner.
Yes.
Against De Niro.
Tell him about TJ Hooker. Yeah, that's good.
right.
110 million.
What?
Okay.
Dude, listen, I don't even remember this movie.
I've never even heard of it until this week.
Never heard of it. Didn't know it existed.
Yeah, but it was in 2002. You were wasted.
So, so I remember when this movie came out, and the marketing for this movie was horrible.
I can imagine.
And it was around that time where like all these team up movies were being done, like I Spy with Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson, and Shanghai Noon and stuff like that. And so like these team up movies were really hot. And around this time, Robert De Niro was kind of abandoning his integrity and just taking movies for money. And
I can see
and
that.
this was definitely one of those. And so like nothing about this movie really worked. And a lot of people just like weren't excited to see it. And so it was a big flop.
Okay, but let Vader guess.
What was the budget?
85.
I think it had to have flopped. So I'm going to say like 65, 70 million.
Ooh, $77 million.
Nice. Yeah, well, it deserved it.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't deserve half the budget.
This
It's insanely bad.
this movie was painful, man. Like, I like old school Eddie Murphy. Like, my favorite Eddie Murphy movie is Trading Spaces with Dan Aykroyd. I love that movie. That's like peak Eddie Murphy for me.
Yeah,
this like 2000s era Eddie Murphy.
This movie, it has a great cast.
Sure.
It's got Rene Russo, the Shat. It's got Eddie Murphy and De Niro, two of
Most
arguably.
Def.
I mean, Kadeem Hardison was even in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who he is, but you know, it's not for a lack of star power that this movie sucks. It's a bad movie. It's poorly acted.
Would you like me to tell you what it's about?
Yeah. I guess I'm just kind of.
You know what? Jude's synopsises or synopsi, whatever, are always the best part of the podcast.
Did you just synopsis singular plural?
Synopsi. Synopsi.
What's the synopsis?
Jude, take it away.
All right. Top cop Eddie Murphy busts bad guys at night and slays auditions during the day. He's just minding his own business, breaking his high score at Total Vice, like the badass Wesley Snipes type that he is, when obvious mob associate Robert De Niro slinks past him with a cherry-flavored icy and a firearm, looking sus. Surely, this is an investigation for Prince Akeem. He disarms the taxi driver just in time for the Channel 5 news helicopter to catch wind of the sting. Pissed off about his busted-up undercover bust, the raging bull shoots out the news camera that won't take "Get that goddamn camera out of here" for an answer, acing his audition for a new reality show. When the nutty professor learns they're looking for one more tough cop on the show, he hires Dwayne Wayne to steal Thor's mom's purse so that he can come to her rescue. I just blew your mind again.
Whoa. That is Thor's mom.
The audition is going great until Gaylord Fokker's father-in-law tries to cuff the purse thief, spoiling Eddie Murphy's ruse. The jig is up, and showrunner Rene Russo knows it was all an act. But luckily, acting is just what she was looking for, and it just so happens that Donkey and De Niro have great chemistry. Discuss.
God,
You really worked hard on that one.
Yeah, she did. She pulled all of this.
good.
Listen, sometimes it just comes together like magic.
All the strings were pulled on that one. I hate literally everything about this movie.
They're just playing caricatures of themselves.
A Wesley Snipes type. You guys, I say this all the time, and now you know why.
Wesley Snipes type?
It's from this.
Do you like this movie?
No.
Oh, okay, thank God.
No, 100% no. I really was not looking forward to watching this.
So why did we pick this?
This was actually Kadish's pick, this movie.
God
I think I
damn you, dude.
I
What
had
is wrong with you?
I had something else in my list. I wanted to do Truman Show
Yeah.
and Ed TV, and then something else was on my list. I forget what, but you guys didn't want to watch it. And so we decided to watch this. This is a terrible movie.
It's a terrible movie.
But for some reason, I want a Wesley Snipes type.
Wesley Snipes type?
Fits into normal conversation in my life.
Right. Everything from the acting is over the top and ridiculous. De Niro looks bored throughout the entire movie.
He totally does.
He looks so bored. He's like, whatever, this freaking Eddie Murphy guy's going to
So you want me to do my De Niro thing a lot through the whole movie?
Okay.
Right? Okay.
You want me to look uninterested and bored?
Put the camera down. I'm gonna look. Give me my mug. I'm gonna look in the camera.
I do like the dog.
Yeah, the dog was funny.
Powder.
The racist dog.
Oh.
So it's a former police dog that basically the network is like, oh, dogs test well with audiences, and so they try to give De Niro a dog to lighten up his image a bit, and it's a former police dog,
But it doesn't like Eddie Murphy.
and it hates Eddie Murphy. So like initially De Niro hates the dog, but once he finds out the dog also hates Eddie Murphy, he's like, okay,
Maybe I like the
work with
dog.
that.
Maybe his dog and I have something in common. You know what I mean? It's just, oh God, this movie's so dull and predictable
It's
and
just- it's
stupid.
so-
And the plot line, the actual plot line that they have, that they're like investigating this like group of people who have these like crazy sci-fi guns or whatever. They're like, oh, the comment that one of the dudes makes about like what kind of gun it was is like, oh, it's a blah 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 interchangeable magazine, blah blah blah. And I'm like,
This gun.
petroleum, whatever the hell casing.
Depleted uranium.
It was so stupid.
This gun is straight out of a, like, this should have starred Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jean-Claude Van
Yes,
Damme.
it
Yes.
So just to give some context to this, so basically this movie's plot revolves around Eddie Murphy and De Niro's characters trying to track down these illegal firearms that, if they get into the hands of gang members and stuff like that, could basically wipe out like an entire city, kill all the police officers, no matter what type of like armor they're wearing and all this other stuff. So, and on top of that, they're filming a reality TV show while they're doing it. And the movie starts off with De Niro kind of talking to a school of kindergartners or something like that about his job as a police officer. And he makes it very clear, like, you know, like, I've never jumped off of, you know, a moving car. I've never like leapt out of an exploding building. Like none of like the stuff you see in the movies is like, most of my stuff is paperwork and all this other junk. And so like when he goes and with his former partner, they go undercover to try to find this arms smuggling ring. And one of the arms smugglers, played by Mos Def, whips out this like super crazy, like semi-automatic weapon that uses these like armor destroying like shells. And basically the guy who is in charge of the arms smuggling ring doesn't like the fact that he exposed these guns. So he takes all of them along with his henchmen and uses them and doesn't clean up any of the evidence that they were used. And De Niro and Eddie Murphy are like, maybe this is a clue. So like they start trying to track this guy down before he can sell these weapons to the local gangs in LA.
They're terrible cops.
They really are bad cops.
Their acting is not fun. Eddie Murphy goes too far and Robert De Niro doesn't go far enough. It's uneven. It's boring.
They just phoned it in.
I don't have anything nice to say about this movie. This movie freaking sucks.
I have one thing nice to say about it.
Go for it. Go for it.
William Shatner.
Oh, okay.
Best part.
So there's a scene in this movie where
With the eyebrows?
where basically Rene Russo's character, who's the producer of this reality show, brings in William Shatner to teach Robert De Niro how to be a cop. And Eddie Murphy is like all about learning from William Shatner, who's playing himself, by the way. And so like you have scenes where you have Eddie Murphy, William Shatner, and Robert De Niro all acting against each other, and they're so wildly different from one another that I was like, this should be the whole movie.
Yeah.
I could watch 3 hours.
He should have.
of this.
Yeah, Shatner should have been the producer of the show. He should have been the one.
Listen, Shatner was only going to show up for 2 hours.
He should have been writing along with them as a technical advisor from the TJ Hooker stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
It would have worked.
But it's funny. So like he's showing them how to like slide across the hood of a car.
Yes.
He's teaching Eddie Murphy about the eyebrows. There's a great scene where he talks about how to like test drugs to see if like what type of drug it is. And De Niro's like, oh, what if it was arsenic? Shatner's just like, ooh. But I loved it because you know, when De Niro's doing his thing, you know, he's in character and he's playing this cop who really hates having to be on a reality show. Shatner's like, this guy's the worst actor I've ever seen in my life.
There was one thing that, I mean, in general, it's not a good movie, but there was one thing that really bothered me in this movie. And it's, so these two police officers, they're on a reality show. The whole point of the show is for the cameras to follow them around while they're doing police work.
Right.
So De Niro shows up, they put him in hair and makeup and wardrobe. And then before he goes out to do his cop job, he's like, I got to wash this shit out of my hair and change. And the cameras are still following him. I'm like, that's not continuity. And then the shit that they do to his house.
Oh,
it's horrible.
He's like, I look like a gay porn star who lives here. They got everything all freaking brightly colored and updated, flat screen TVs.
The whole movie, Rene Russo is like, I can work with this.
Yeah.
I can work with this. I can work with this.
That's the only thing she said the whole movie.
Stop working with it.
And also their little romance at the end kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, this is just one of those movies. It's like, we got to throw a romance in. Where can we put it? Right at the end. Have them kiss.
But
the audience will love it.
But it was kind of clever that like, so like De Niro, who's, you know, very much like, this is how actual police work is done. Like basically finds himself in like a big action, like movie where like he's doing all the cop tropes that he said, like real
You
cops
never do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't see that coming.
Not at all.
It was also funny because there's a scene in this movie where De Niro goes to like his local diner to like have lunch, and Rene Russo follows him there to try to convince him to like, you know, do the reality show. And that diner that he goes to sit in was actually a place I used to go to a lot when I lived in LA. It was called the Apple Pan.
Back in Hollywood.
And all it is, it's this big horseshoe shaped counter with like a kitchen in there. And they had the best hamburgers and the best pie in town.
Were you offended that they had a roach on the counter at the end of that scene?
I was, but like the restaurant in the show is not the Apple Pan. That's just where they filmed it.
Okay.
So like the restaurant in the show is actually like some like really like down and dirty diner. But like when I was watching the scene, I was like, God, that place looks familiar. And I was like, oh, they must have shot at the Apple Pan. And so
is it still there today?
Oh yeah. It's one of those staples in LA that never goes away.
Okay, hear me out, guys. As a podcast, we need to take some podcast funds and we need to go on a tour adventure of LA with Matthew Kadish and be like, this is where I used to hang out here. This is where I used to go to lunch over here.
True Hollywood stories.
Don't just stroke his ego, dude. I'm not interested
I
in
have actually
stroking
been
his
on
ego.
this tour.
She was like, been there.
Remember how I was talking about my first panic attack yesterday? It was during this trip.
Oh no.
I feel like we should need to like go to like a conference or something in LA and just have him take us to a couple cool places at some point.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
So we went to Paramount, and his friend still works there. So he like stole a golf cart, picked us all up, and gave us a personal tour.
Yeah, we went on the set of Grace and Frankie.
Mm-hmm.
Grace and Frankie, no shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we go talk to
That's
Paramount
amazing.
and ask them that why they keep blocking our videos?
Oh no, we're probably banned from the lot by now.
It's like, listen, you piece of shit.
but yeah, we stayed at the Roosevelt Hotel, and you know, I took her to my old neighborhood and all this other fun stuff in LA. So
I've never wanted to go to LA before, but that kind of sounds like fun.
It was really fun.
took her to the Magic Castle.
Like,
I love the Magic Castle.
what? What'd you guys do there?
They have
Magic.
shows. They have actual magicians.
Really?
Yeah, it was so much fun. And
Okay.
they fed me.
That's probably the best of both worlds.
Also, there's like several bars on each level.
Perfect.
Like,
Good.
it's everything.
What were you gonna say?
So you probably got to like meander through homeless encampments between places that you
Nowadays.
go to.
Fucking magical.
I just want to go to
I don't
the.
know.
I just
I
go.
don't think you can pay me to go to LA right now.
Yeah, it's-
But it was funny because in this movie, Robert De Niro's place, it's got like the carports underneath like his apartment, and it's, you know, that's so common out there in Hollywood and LA. And I was watching that, I was like, God, I remember when I used to live in a place like that. It's so ghetto.
Yeah, they made a parking garage out of one of Elon Musk's tunnels.
Perfect. See, he's useful.
But like this movie really should have been more of a comedy than it was. You know, like I think that they
Yeah.
tried to straddle the line between seriousness and comedy, and it just needed to be a flat out like
this
goofy movie.
They
feels like it.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it feels like it should have been like the other guys with Wahlberg and Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Like this is what this movie should have been.
That movie was funny.
That one movie was funny. It
I
just
feel like this was trying to be Lethal Weapon.
really.
I feel like this movie was just Eddie Murphy being Eddie Murphy and it being over with at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
you
just-
can tell De Niro did this for the paycheck.
Oh yeah.
And Eddie Murphy was just doing like the same shtick that he does in every
I mean,
movie.
where was he at in his career when this came out? Was this?
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
He was doing fucking Pluto Nash and
And I think the movie that came out right before this was I Spy. That he
I
did
actually-
with
Oh
Owen
yeah.
Wilson.
So he was like in like the bottom of the.
I don't mind
Career.
I Spy though. Like I have fond memories of watching them. I haven't watched it recently, so maybe if I go back and rewatch it, it's probably gonna be shit. But
I mean, he had already done all of the Nutty Professor
I've
movies.
never seen a single one of those
I think I
movies.
saw the first
And
one.
I
I think
refuse.
Janet Jackson's in that one.
I mean, I love Eddie Murphy. I love his movies.
I love his
Oh,
older
his good
movies.
movies.
Yeah.
You know, but
Well, you
these
didn't like Coming to America all that much.
Coming the
well,
second
that's
one
'cause you watched it in
was
the wrong-
terrible.
You watched it in the wrong order.
The second one was terrible. The first one was funny. What's the McDonald's ripoff place? McDonald's. So stupid. Oh,
Burgers on the bottom. Right. Cheese is on the bottom.
Not a
So-
sesame seed bun.
Not-
Yeah.
yeah, that's
It's different. It's 25% different.
Fries are made in
Like I
canola
like
oil.
Eddie Murphy. His movies are fun, and I remember liking I Spy. So I don't. I just think it just didn't work in this movie.
So, two fun facts about this movie. The first is that Rene Russo's assistant is actually Robert De Niro's adopted daughter.
oh,
And the
Nepotism.
second one is James Roday, who is Sean from Psych, one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I think this is like his first movie, and I just thought that was kind of cool to see him in this.
the scene is making me really want
I want a hamburger.
cheeseburger
I
right
want a
now,
hamburger.
dude.
Yeah, we're watching the Apple Pan. scene.
Yeah, I'm so hungry right now. I'm like, oh, that burger looks good as fuck.
Order it up, dude.
That burger's probably better than the
Applebee's.
movie. Yeah.
Applebee's in the neighborhood.
There's a Carl's Jr. right down the street.
I know.
Be there in 10
Oh
minutes.
my God, that's such trash.
Well, it's, you know.
This podcast is brought to you by Carl's Jr. It's trash.
That'll be $1,000, Carl's Jr.
You can rent out one of these squares for $1,000. Carl's Jr. cup.
Yeah, leave us a comment on
We
the
need
video.
to do a different product placement every week.
Yeah,
in that.
well, I was trying not to bring attention to it, but I do genuinely want our audience's feedback on the wall of nerdom. I've got a new background. It's no longer just the
banner.
The banner. Now I've got some cool stuff in the background, some alcohol and some fun things, some Stargate, Indiana Jones. Stuff
Yeah,
like
we
that, so.
wanted to show James Mangold what was up.
Yeah, we got to update. We got
He
lights
upgraded.
and everything. But anyway, let us know what you think of the background in the comments
Yeah,
below.
leave us a comment. Give us your feedback on Alex's new background.
Yep. Let me know if there's anything else
And
I can
send
include.
us booze for it.
Booze, yes. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, you get
If
us.
you want us to showcase your booze,
If you-
send it.
But it has to be short and stumpy, though.
Yeah. What are those, 10 inches?
I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Well,
Yeah.
it'll be on our Discord.
Getting back to the movie though, so like we're watching the scene right now where Dwayne Wayne does the fake mugging with Eddie Murphy. And Jude, do you want to explain who Dwayne Wayne is?
Who's Dwayne Wayne? I don't know who
He's
that is.
from a different world.
Is that the song?
Yeah.
I don't know what that
It
means.
is now.
When Lisa Bonet was on the Cosby Show.
Lisa Bonet?
Yeah.
You know,
Who's that?
Mrs. Momoa.
Yes. Jason
Well,
Momoa's
was.
wife.
Not anymore.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yep.
Okay. She was on the Cosby Show. She played the
Lisa.
oldest daughter, or no, the
Second
second
oldest.
oldest daughter, Denise. She had a spin-off show called A Different World, where she goes to college, and Kadeem Hardison was the second lead on it. I think she was only on the first
She was
season.
in the first season, and they
Yeah.
said, "Oh, you suck, with Lisa Bonet, but we're gonna keep going."
Was it a Cosby Show spinoff?
It was a Cosby Show
Same.
spin-off.
It's like she played the same,
Same
character?
universe, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And Dwayne Wayne was the guy who had the circular
He
glasses.
had the
and
flip-up
it flipped up.
glasses.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
circles, and they were his glasses, and then you like flip down the
Right.
sunglasses part of them, and that's where that came from.
That's where we got Sinbad from. Sinbad was in
Mm-hmm.
it, the comedian.
It's before my time.
You know who Sinbad is?
I know who Sinbad is, but
Okay, well, that fell flat. You're welcome.
no, it's fine. I had no idea, and I still don't know. Like I'm looking at him,
Yeah.
like
Was this before or after Sinbad played a genie in a movie?
That never
that's
happened.
Mandela effect. Shazam. He played Shazam. He was a genie.
No, he didn't.
No, that was Shaq.
There's a movie with Sinbad as a genie. I remember
think
that
there
shit.
is.
I do too, but it didn't happen.
That's bullshit.
I need you to stop talking. Or they're gonna come.
I watched that goddamn movie.
They're gonna come get you. Shut the fuck up.
I watched the movie with Shaquille O'Neal as like Iron Man. You remember that? Steel or something
Steel,
like
yeah.
that. That
Superman.
exists.
Superman ripoff.
Superman spinoff.
Superman spinoff, ripoff, whatever. I don't know. I remember these movies, and yes, Sinbad was in a genie movie.
There's a witch.
Yes.
I know.
So
I
I
saw
watched
that
it.
movie too.
So Showtime received 2 nominations for Golden Raspberry Awards. The first was for Eddie Murphy as worst actor,
Oh, thank God.
and the second was worst screen combo for Murphy and De Niro together.
It
Have
wasn't
they
good.
have they ever been on screen together ever since?
I don't think so.
This was like a one time.
I meant to look that up because I was wondering too, but I didn't.
I'm really glad that it got a Razzie Award because it.
I don't think it won. I think it got nominated.
That's fine.
God,
That's close
snubbed.
enough. Close enough.
I just wanted more Shatner. Like as soon as he appeared, I was like, he needs to be in the rest of this movie because he was the best part.
I agree. He's the only good part of this movie. I love it when he was like trying to teach him how to do the tuck and roll. It's the best part of the freaking movie. The rest of it is trash. Everything about this movie is trash. Vader, give it a rating.
1-star crap fest.
Thank you. Jude?
It didn't make me mad, but it's not good. I'll give it a firm 2 TJ hookers out of 5.
2 out of 5. Okay. Kadish.
I'm right there with my lovely lady over here. This is a 2 TJ hookers out of 5. It's an okay movie. Like it's totally forgettable. It's very silly. All the movies that we're watching this week are basically a direct result of the reality TV craze that Survivor started back in the late 90s. And it's just gone from there. And all these movies kind of have the same problems to them, which is they're not very interesting. So,
Survivor.
yeah.
Yeah. Remember that?
I thought Real World started the whole
I agree.
reality TV craze.
Well, Survivor was the thing that basically made the networks all switch over to reality TV.
Real World just did it first. Showtime was the only time that they teamed up.
Okay. I figured as much. I'm with Vader. I'll tell you what. This is a 1-star movie, but I'm going to give it a 1/2 star for William Shatner.
That's fair.
So 1.5.
I think William Shatner lowered himself by being in this movie.
Oh my God. You remember when he played a radio DJ
With a bottle of.
and just
Yeah, but
drank
he
wild
was
turkey through the whole movie?
I respected him for that. That was much better.
Yeah, he showed up for one day. He
It's like,
probably
I'm gonna
got
get
paid
drunk.
half the budget of
What was
Christmas
that
Horror
movie?
Story.
Christmas Horror Story,
Horror
right?
Story,
yes. Christmas Horror Story with.
Watch that.
William
Don't
Shatner.
watch this.
Yeah, we actually covered that for our
did.
holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
episode
Holiday.
one
Was
day.
it Holiday Horror? What did
Yeah,
we
Holiday
Yes,
do?
it
Horror.
was.
Yeah. Krampus was a dope ass
Oh my God, Krampus was great.
Fucking love that
Yeah,
movie.
I actually really liked Christmas Horror Story. Was
Yeah.
that- okay. Yeah.
Or Holiday Horror. Yeah,
whatever.
it was.
Whatever. Yeah. That was great.
It was
I think
better
about
than I
that movie
expected.
all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's just Shatner getting drunk.
That's great. Can you imagine getting paid to
You know,
sit and
as-
get drunk while you talk?
As much as Shatner hates YouTubers and podcasters, like he should start a YouTube channel where he just like
Oh my God.
gets drunk and talks about shit and rants.
He would-
I would watch the fuck out of that.
He would be so famous.
I love how
He doesn't need it.
No.
But
What,
people
what
would
I mean
send
by
him
famous is
booze.
like,
It would save him a trip to the store for the wild turkey.
God damn
I
it.
love
dude.
his I don't talk to podcasters
Yeah.
stance. It's so
Yeah.
funny to me.
Hey, good for him, man.
What? It's like, okay.
I gave him a fist bump at the Star Trek convention. It's all good.
You did.
I wouldn't talk to me either, man. I could totally understand.
Yeah. Was it probably 3 years ago now? It's a Trek convention. I got a meet and greet for me and my dad to go see Shatner because my dad's a huge fan of Star Trek. Been watching it since he's a kid, and I was like, Dad, you want to go meet Shatner? And he's like, Well, I don't know how much is it going to be? I'm like, don't worry about the cost. I'll pay for it. I was like, it was awesome. It was freaking great. My dad had a giant grin on his face the whole time. It
I
was
didn't
cool.
pay shit for Dina Meyer to go like this at me.
No.
No.
Yeah, the one time I met Shatner, he was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a pretty chill guy. He chatted with my dad for a second.
Yeah, don't talk about your podcast though.
No. Hey man, would you like to be on my podcast?
No.
No.
Universal.
Universal. No.
I'm not seeing anywhere where Sinbad played Genie. in the
Shut
Sinbad
up.
show. I'm
No.
looking at
Never
this thing right now.
happened. It never happened.
Jude and I are from the same parallel universe.
I'm looking for it. And she had a claw because the spell didn't work.
You can tell we hate this
I
movie.
saw this movie.
Do you remember the shape of the lamb?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know we hate a movie when we're talking about Sinbad, and Sinbad wasn't even in the movie.
There's so little for me to talk
Talking about a movie that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah. And at the end
What
of the movie, she's just crying, it didn't work, or there wasn't enough, or something like that, because the spell wouldn't transform. I saw this fucking movie.
I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Cherokee Kid.
That's it for
No.
Showtime. I don't know what else to say about
He
this
was
movie.
in Jingle All the Way.
It's trash.
Yep.
The only thing good about it is William Shatner.